on, there are a lot of momentum built around the Chinese IC industry, and we're expecting in the next few years there will be a big growth in the Chinese IC industry. So today we're lucky to have an insider and veterans from Chinese IC industry to share his perspectives. So we have Dr. Mark Ding, who is the CEO of eTree, a leading R&D center in more and more sectors of IC industry in China. Dr. Ding previously was the president of IMEC China and the vice president of Tile China. And he was also founder and the CEO of a couple startups in China. And least but not last, Dr. Ding was vice president of SIIP and the president of SIIP China. So he was truly an old friend of SIIP, both SIIP and CASPA. Let's welcome Dr. Ding.
Thank you for the introduction. It's so nice to come back here. It has been about 10 years since last time I was here. I think the best investment I had was a lifetime membership with CASPA. So good to see many old friends and new friends. Today, Long gave a very good big picture for China. I'm going to give in a little bit of the detail of China, what's going on with the industry. So, the agenda here, understanding China IC industry. I think everybody here understands China, but I want to give a little bit more about it. And then talk about a little bit about innovation. And then after that, a platform of innovation, that's the new model that I want to share with everybody. And then at the end, I will talk about SIIP as a platform for the industry, for the innovation, and then a summary. Understanding IC industry in China, that's an interesting question. So I've been studying this for a long time. And for those who were in China, in Semi, probably I know this picture very well. I used when I was in Semi. So I think the basics is in our industry. Many people understand the very basics of economics is when you build up a company, you have to pass so-called entry barrier. And then after that, you want to make sure you pass the critical mass so that your company can grow successfully. So in China, you see many places building many foundries, fabs. And now what they do is they build a 35K or 30K fab, and with amount of money, let's say $2-3 billion US. So then after that, they forgot this is just enough for cross the entry barrier for a foundry business or for a fab business. And then after that, if you don't continue, so then to a drop. So in our case, you will see many cases in China. There exists one small investment to cross the boundary condition, the entry barrier. And after that, no continued investment, so the industry going down. And as many companies disappeared after a few years. So that's the reason that continuous investment is very important to cross the critical mass. That's the rule in our industry. And unfortunately, many government people doesn't know this. So they only do this and not this way. So the important is for our audience is, let's think about it. Today, there are a lot of the opportunity in China. So which one you want to pick? So that's why I bring this picture here. So in China, there are lots of opportunities. Looks like money is everywhere. But however, which one you should pick? That's something I want to share with everybody here. Today, we're in a situation, actually we're competing with a heavily consolidated market. That's the current situation. When we studied in 1983 to 1986 in Japan, if you look at the Japan market, the booming market, at that time, it took Japanese about 10 years, from 1996 to 86 to 97, about this period of time, Japan built 50% of the worldwide manufacturing base in Japan, so that Japanese took the #1 position in semiconductor industry. And now, at that time, there were over 100 foundries or fabs there in that time. But right now, we are looking at a heavy consolidated market. So look at the foundry. TSMC is already well over 50% of market share, and still with a very high growth rate. And then in the equipment industry, if you look at the applied material with 38% of the growth rate last year, and also the top 10 with 80%, over 80% of the market share. And also for IDM, look at the Samsung with 52.6 growth rate, and already #1 in the world. So this is a very consolidated market. So now, if we look at it in China, when we try to catch up, that means you're not catching up with the lower ones. You want to catch up with the leaders. So then the leaders actually is running very, very fast. And also you're competing with the very toughest guys. So the real opportunity then for us, what is the real opportunity for us? The opportunity is, #1, we want to make sure we have enough funding. Then we want to pay attention, especially pay attention to the critical mass. I saw many teams from Silicon Valley or from local China. Those are industry veterans, very strong guys. They come to China, and then some local governments say, hey, you come here, I build a fab for you. So then the fab amount is about, let's say, 3 billion RMB fab. So then you want to build IDM, they want to build IDM. And then what happened is, then this fab will cost a huge capex for this fab. Then the balance sheet, it will look very bad next year because you're investing 3 billion RMB in capex. Next year, it will depreciation kick off start to kick off on the balance sheet. Then when this company can be profitable, when this company can have an exit strategy, can be profitable and also be able to list on the stock market. So this is very questionable. And then actually we want to make sure, that's why I want to give a hint to everybody that when somebody give you the money to invest on the very high capex, we need to be careful. And also we try to keep a low risk on make sure we have low capex. And then low capex means lower risk. Okay. So then the #3 is the good local market to start with. We want to make sure when we start with new companies, we want to pay attention to local market. This is extremely important for equipment startups. I saw many equipment, the experts that form an equipment company in China. We all know Zero In, right, for AMEC. AMEC is one of the most successful equipment vendors in China. And at the beginning, about 15 years ago, they come back from US, from Applied Material and the NAMs and so on, and went back about 20 top-notch engineers and started this company. And with so much money invested, and at the end, still up to now, as of now, they still were not able to penetrate into the most critical layers for semiconductor etching market, for TSMC, for example. The reason is simple. So it's not about the technology itself. It's not about the tool itself. It is about the worry that the leading foundry has about if you know my critical technology, that means you may leak this to somebody in China. That was the real competitor, could be the competitor for TSMC, for the leading guys. So because of this reason, the local equipment company will have hard time to break into the leading international foundry or leading international fabs. So then, with China market, I think Long showed a big picture about for 10% of the local capex in China, worldwide capex is in China. And the next year is about 15% of the capex in China. But I was with TEL before. For so many years, domestic consumption for TEL, or domestic consumption for China, capex, has been below 5%. So that means if you make equipment, you are working on the industry with less than 5% of the total market. So the chance of making it is so difficult. So we need to keep this in mind. When you start up a company in China, you want to make sure you have a good market to start with. So now AMEC all of a sudden turned to be very successful because they find out a big market, which is LED market. So which is big market in China. And also they occupied 70% of the market share. So that makes AMEC to be successful. Not because AMEC is very successful in etching tools for semiconductor, for the leading edge. So that's the message I want to send to people here. So next, I want to give you my definition of innovation. So before that, I show a picture here. Does anyone know Jianbing? Okay, in New York Times actually reported a Jianbing in New York. It's a very successful company in New York, and Jianbing is from China, and by these two guys. When they were in Shanghai, they learned how to make that, and then they come back and say, "Oh, this is wonderful." Then they make the Jianbing in New York, and the waiting time, the queue for the Jianbing is over 1 hour, I was told. So, but they made a difference, okay? So they put the beef sticks inside the Jianbing, so make it so tasty. So, showing this as an example, now getting to the picture of the innovation, the formulas. So by definition, for me, I think the process of making profitable product and a service, that's innovation. If you can make money, that means you're doing something new. You're doing something different. So not the brilliant inventions, something new, something better. That's already innovation. Okay. So there are 4 types of innovation that I put together. I think one is the geographic innovation. The New York Jianbing is exactly the reason, okay? So those guys bring something from China to New York. And also in most of the China internet company, they learn something from States, okay? For example, the BAT all learn from Google or from the, eBay and so on. You know, they similar business model to bring to China. And then New York Jianbing bring Chinese, the wonderful food to New York. Low risk and the low model. Okay. So the second type is the cost innovation. Basically, the come up with a low cost. Okay. So then most of the IC companies in China actually going through this one. Always something already happened in US or in somewhere else, and then China can make it in lower cost. Okay, and also or offer in a lower margin. So this is also low risk. However, it's a low margin. Low margin means you might not have enough R&D dollars for the next run. So we saw many Chinese IC design companies. They have one product shooting up very quickly in the revenue, and then a couple of years later, they disappeared. This company disappeared because they did not have enough time. The application support eat up their all R&D resources, and then they did not have enough money for the R&D. So the next run, they don't have a product, and then when new product come up, they lost the whole market. So the company disappeared. So the third part is called revolutionary innovations. The revolutionary innovation in our industry, AI now is so close to the industry now, getting close, but something's very far away. For example, quantum computing, superconductivity, those are something new. We know it's going to come, okay, somehow, and it's going to be revolutionary. Those are high risk and also it's important to build the whole industry cluster. It's so difficult. We don't know when it's coming. So those are for professors and also for large company, R&D companies. Previously, like the Bell Labs, they do this kind of thing. Okay? And then the fourth part, which is most important, I think I want to introduce, is the evolutionary innovations. So this is the part is C3 focus. And most of successful companies I watched, including like Apple, different versions of Apple, and Huawei, different versions of Huawei, they all have kind of evolutionary innovations. And also, one thing I want to point out is in this area is crossover innovation, cross the boundary, from this industry to that industry, from our semiconductor industry to the biomedical industry, for example. This is very good for the evolutionary innovation. Some people put this in the third category, but I would like to put it here because in the semiconductor industry, the knowledge, basic physics is known to us. And also for the biotechnology industry, that's also new to that industry. So putting together is something new, of course, but that's application-wise is new. Okay, and in this case, it's a low risk, and also that's advanced technology with high margin. So that's something we want to pay attention to. So then I want to introduce a little bit about the innovation platform. So when we talk about the innovation, there are 4 key factors important. Normally we talk about the talent, and we talk about the capitals, everybody. Okay, so now for this time I want to point out actually the platform is extremely important for innovation or successful innovation. For a new product to get across the critical mass, that's the platform. We often see somebody has a great idea and come up with a startup company, and then it didn't make it because it cannot get across the critical mass, and without the platform, maybe. There are 3 types of platforms. One type is we call platform companies. Platform companies like Google, like Apple, like Intel, those are the platform companies. Platform company, I will talk a little bit later about it. Okay, and then the second part is industry R&D centers. We found out across in the whole world, we saw many successful R&D industry R&D centers, like Albany, close to IBM, and also Leti, next to ST, and also Fraunhofer, Siemens, and NXP, and so on. And also IMEC and VTT next to Nokia, and also CSEM and across to next to Swatch. And also we saw in Taiwan, ITRI, and we have TSMC and MTK and so on. So those industries, R&D center actually cultivated many companies and also continue to support the innovation of those companies, and also with many small companies also. So the third type of the platforms is industry cluster. So with any one of those, and with talent, with capital, it is easier to do. It is easier for the innovation. So in the Silicon Valley, for example, the key factor is talent. So Silicon Valley has the world-leading technology. The talent of everybody, anyone who come out of your previous company are viewed as the top-notch talent with the top-notch technology. So the VCs, many VCs waiting for those guys come out and to invest. Okay, and then platforms, in many platform companies in the Silicon Valley, and also with great industry cluster. Okay, so platform means many companies here nearby with Apple, Google, and Intel, and you are halfway to success if you could win any deal inside those platform companies. Like investors won the deal with Apple, then they like shooting star. Okay, and then however, for industry R&D center, local here, not, but there are many service companies, and also Berkeley and Stanford serve half of those. And also industry clusters provides all kinds of talents in the Silicon Valley. You can see lots of talents with ideas, technologies, you have discussions, and also you can try on things, and also the key is to qualify your applications, get into the door of those big guys. So all kinds of applications available in this industry. So that's why Silicon Valley is the center of the innovation, very strong. And then I want to share with you a city in Shenzhen. A city in Shenzhen in China, as the others, okay? The talent-wise, this is a world manufacturing base. There are many experienced talent, okay? That talent is not at the same level of the talent as in the Silicon Valley. They are experienced people, working people. The capital-wise, they normally use their own money, startup company, and to putting something together very quickly. And also, as long as it is better than their existing product, they do it. So, in terms of the platform, some platform companies there, and also great low-cost industry cluster for consumer electronics in Shenzhen. That's the key. So platform companies, company like a Tencent, company like a Huawei, then for games, for internet, for IoT, very successful. For industry clusters, they can quickly make anything in low cost for the electronics industry, all kinds of applications. That's why Shenzhen grows very rapidly in China. So here, I want to share with you a little bit about the CIIP. Okay, CIIP as a platform for innovation. It's an R&D center I mentioned. Okay, so it is very quickly. It's a Shanghai Industry Microtechnology Research Center, Research Institute. That's a abbreviation. That's the full name of CIIP. So the keywords for CIIP is we are in more and more industry, and also we have offered IoT. Okay, so then in terms of facility, we have 8-inch lab. We have an 8-inch fab for prototype, pilot run, and also low volume production. That's important for small companies. And also we have research platform and also funds and, from angel, VC to PE funds. That's 5,000 square meters of clean room space. The technology platform we cover MEMS, RFIC, power devices, SoC, and silicon photonics, and biotechnology, bio-MEMS, and also new energy, IoT solutions. So we're majorly getting from the sensors all the way to IT solutions. Give you an example of the enabling technology. For example, for enabling technology like in the biomedical applications, we have a microfluidic technology platform. So this technology platform, we have 8-inch fab to making this, and also we have design team to design microfluidic modules and also the bioprinting chips, just like inkjet printing printers. Okay, and those technology will be used by the seven applications, including the POCT and drug delivery, 3D cell printing, and so on, cell sorting, and so on. Okay. So we can print out a single live cell of bacteria or cells. Okay. So then you can make it fluorescence and also transfections, and then while keeping a healthy cell right there. And also by doing 3D bioprinting, so you can do, in the future, you can do the organ cells. So all this is powered by the microfluidic modules, this mentioned. Okay. So for applications like the biomedical industry, you can use this platform. So next, I want to show you. This is also for DNA sequencing. Next, I want to show you the hetero integration with the wafer bondings. The hetero integration is we can take this from one substrate, take it out, and put it on the second substrate. So with 1 micron of the gap. So the reason of doing this is we use the hydrogen implanter. So can implant into this layer very precisely into certain depths, so that and then we can peel this out and then put it onto another substrate. so for the wafer bonding. So with this kind of technology, we can do silicon on anything, or anything on silicon, or in the future, anything on anything. So that's for the hardware integration. So another part platform is the silicon photonics platform. We have leveraging the CMOS technology and also put it on the silicon-based platform. So you can see we have the laser, and also you have modulator, and then put it into modulator, put it into the fiber, and then from fiber you can demodulating and also get the photo detector, and then and also get the signal out of it using CMOS technology. All this as a platform. So you can, this kind of platform, you can do LiDAR, you can do the biotechnology, and also you can do entertainment and also transceivers of data communications. So many applications can use this kind of platform. So that's our facility for this platform. And then we have already existing a device library. This device library is already benchmarked with many industry leaders. If you look at this, well, we have our friends in research center, and also in Europe, research institute, we can say across the board, our data is better or similar on the same level or better than the other guys. So then at the end, I want to introduce a new model for startups here. So I had 2 startup experience. So I noticed for engineers, they have come up with a new technology. Sometimes they need to, when they start a company, they need to learn how to manage the company, how to do marketing and so on, which sometimes may take time for them to learn, but they may not realize it. So the new way of doing it is the engineering team plus C-tree plus foundry. That's our new model. This model is the team, the engineering team, only focus on the product development. The rest of that, C-tree will take care of it. For example, C-tree will provide the fund, or find the fund for you, and also match you with the market and also technology, and also C-tree will invest on CapEx, make the equipment. Okay. So by doing that, we successfully see many spin-offs of C-tree. Okay, for example, in solar, in biomems, in GaN, optical MEMS, and also temperature sensor, IGBT. Those teams, some teams from Chinese, from US, from Japan, and this is IGBT, for example, is the all Japanese team. So we also have professors from CAS creating companies. So all kinds of background of the technology people, by working with C-tree, can come up with startup company. Globally, C-tree has many sites, including a Silicon Valley site. So we have an office here in the Tech Mart, next to the convention center. So that's our office. Everybody welcome to visit to here. And also, this office, we have Linda Zhu, and our GM today is here, sitting here. And also, I encourage you to talk with them, and Echo and Linda. And they are a liaison office to support local companies, and also support C-tree to come here, C-tree's engineer to come to here, or support local innovators to come to C-tree. They have fully access to 8-inch fab prototype, and also low cost, low volume production, and also fully access to research platform, and full access to funding. And also, since we have a bigger office there, so we also can share the office space with startups. So, give a summary. China has great opportunities. Now, the key is to catch the right one. The platforms are important for the innovation. That's the second part I want to give you to take away. The number 3 is, I think the most important is, now C-tree seems to find a new business model. And this model is more efficient for startup companies than the traditional design house plus foundry. So it's design house plus C-tree plus foundry. That's the new model. It's much efficient, much quicker, much lower cost for the innovative companies here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lim, to share your perspective for China market. Yeah, we're going to show our token of appreciation to Dr. Lim. So our chairman of the Symposium, Dr. Richard Yang, is going to be presenting the flag to Dr. Lim.